Hi, Donna.
Hi, Costanza. How are you?
Fine, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for agreeing to do this interview with me.
No, thank you for inviting me. I'm honored.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you. Um, how are you?
I'm fine. I mean, we are still on it's kind of weird in Venezuela because we are 7 by 7 lockdown, 7 days of lockdown, and then 7 days of free circulation on the streets. So it's kind of weird, but
Oh, I'm sorry, Costanza. The connection broke down there. Did you say that you have 7 days of lockdown and then 7 days of freedom?
yes.
I don't understand.
Yeah, we neither. It's kind of weird. It's a decision that Maduro made. It's about, uh, I don't know, it's a political, I think it's a political measure to just control people.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It must be hard after the 7 days of freedom to go back to not being able to move freely. And
Yeah, I mean, I, I don't think that it's that much about freedom versus lockdown. I think, at least for me, it's I'm thinking more about the danger of being exposed to people that don't care about the virus,
yeah,
about COVID. I
yeah,
think there's a lot of people. I don't think how much um, of I don't think people really care about it. So when people go out to the streets are very free. They
mm,
don't care about um, the other ones. So it caused me kind of anxiety because we are just beginning with the vaccination. So it's not even a matter of, and I don't know whether this is going to work or not, because we are not sure what kind of vaccine they're going to apply to the population, when it's going to occur to the majority of people. They say, I mean, it's a matter of trust. I
yeah,
think we don't trust government, so it's kind of complicated. It's not like I'm trying to telling you a tragedy. It's just the way it is here. So
I think that's a common theme of people not trusting the government.
yeah. I think people should not trust government in general. I mean, but at least, I don't know, certain areas of common or policies to, I don't know, health or public matters that should be, you should trust government at least. And this is hard for us, I think. But yeah, you're right. I think it's, in general, people don't trust governments.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
No, I don't want you to be depressed because of
No, no,
what I told you about Venezuela. It was not my.
not at all, not at all. I I've got a few questions for you. One of
Mhm.
my questions was around how you feel you're navigating the new world that we now find ourselves in. Sort of, I'd be interested in knowing how you feel you're navigating it personally and in your practice,
Mm.
whether they're two separate approaches.
I don't know. in my case, because my work, it's kind of personal, or it's developed because of things I think or feel, or I'm kind of addressing certain concerns about my body or my emotions. They are very, it's just like a one thing. It's not like it's separate ways. And I think for me, personally, and in a matter of work, it's been difficult to manage this new scenario of interacting with people, the way we show our works, the way we can develop our works. Personally, at the beginning, I was kind of worried about whether we would be able to return to our normal lives, or our daily routines, because it was a big change for all of us to just from one day to another just kind to
Oh, Costanza, I seem to have
say for me
sorry, Costanza, I lost you for a moment there.
Sorry, it's my connection. It's Venezuela's connection. I'm very sorry. I don't know. I was saying that it was very difficult for me because I didn't know. I still don't know. I'm not very certain about how to manage this situation. I'm thinking I'm kind of navigating this new reality. And in the beginning, it was kind of for me, I was very anxious about how to deal with this. I'm still kind of anxious because I don't know if I'm going to be able to develop my work and professionally live or survive with the income that I can make out of my my activities. On the other hand, I had the chance to teach some workshops online, so it was a relief to know that it was a kind of a open source for all of us to just approach not just teaching, but also learning, because I had the opportunity also to participate in workshops or symposiums, et cetera, that in other cases it would be very difficult if it was not online and on this scenario of contacting new people from exactly what we are doing right now. The matter that we are just speaking and about these concerns now through a video chat or whatever you call it. It's a relief, and it's I think it's a good way to just kind of navigate this in the best way we can. And in my work, I started to, because I have to, I deal with concerns with intimacy and my relation with my own body and my conception on what is emotion versus rationality, or what is worthy of
sorry,
being
Costanza.
represented. I was
I'm sorry, I lost you again for a moment, only just briefly.
I'm sorry.
I don't, I didn't want to interrupt your flow. So the last thing I heard you saying is you were talking about your working with your relation with your body and your feelings and what is real. And so, sorry, if we could continue from there.
Yeah, I was saying that because I work since 2016, I'm working on this project about my relation with my own body. On this period, I was just trying to address with the tools I had or available for me at the moment, not trying to make it like a big thing with a camera and a tripod, etc., but maybe just with a cell phone, or just trying to document how I was feeling with short videos or with photographs, with fragments of me interacting with certain things that I'm working on now. I started to develop a series that I called Ex Votos, that it's based on are these parts, anatomical representations of part of the bodies of someone that is ill, and this is an religious offering in order to ask for cure or healing. How do you say that? You ask a god or it's a god. For a cure of this part of your body that is healed. And I was interested in this kind of idea of the expos, especially in this time, in this period of time where we are very concerned about COVID, or the way we are afraid of other people or have proximity to other people. Mm-hmm. So I started working with
Costanza, can you hear me?
Yes.
I don't know what happened. We just completely lost. It just went. But I did. I heard you explained that you started. The last thing that I heard before it cut out was that, and hopefully we're still recording, the way that we're afraid of other people.
Yes. Yes.
And you said you went on to say you started working with, and then it cut out.
Yes, I was saying that I started working with a plaster cast. I don't know how you say that in English.
I understand.
Oh, I lost you. How do you say that in English?
Yeah, we'd say plaster cast, exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So in 2019, I made a workshop about doing this on plaster cast of my face, etc. And last year, I started to think about my body like a territory or a place that I should heal. So I started buying these bandages of plaster bandages. I don't know how to say that. Yeah. And started to bandage part of my own body. And then with this cast, I started photographing these forms that was that I was kind of reproducing my own body with this this podcast. But I started photographing this from the inside and not the outside. I was interested in the process of making this plaster cast.
So you were
Donna,
interested.
are you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I still agree. So you were in. You started photographing it from the inside, not the outside, because you were interested in the process of making the plaster casts.
Yes, I was interested in making photographs not only on of the process of being with the bandages and with the plaster cast, but also I was interested in this kind of idea that this plaster cast would show me my how I was on the internal side of me.
Yeah.
And it's obviously an impossibility. You can see yourself. You can see the traces of your body, but not see yourself, obviously. And I was interested also in the process of making this plaster cast, because I find out that it's very similar to photography in a way, because it's a reproduction. Is a reproduction, how do you say, a faithful reproduction, a very accurate reproduction of what you see.
Like an authentic.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Is a replica.
Yeah, it's interesting.
As photography is.
It's really interesting you should say about you. Did you say you started with your face doing a?
Yes.
I did something very similar. In fact, I'm in my office and I also, this is my face.
Yes, cool.
And the strangest thing for me when I did this is you never get to see your face in 3 dimensions.
No.
And I highly recommend it to everybody, because I feel like I have a better understanding of myself just from seeing my face in 3D. Yeah. So that's really really interesting. So you started on this work in 2019, prior to the pandemic. How do you feel the pandemic has affected or has impacted the way that work has progressed, or the way that you're looking
well,
at it?
I made this. I participated on this workshop in 2019 to learn to make this plaster cast, but it was not until 2020, when the pandemic started, that I had the time to develop this work, because I had a lot of time, and also I felt like I needed to cure myself or heal myself. So I started to doing this bandaging thing, and trying to see myself in another way, not just photographing, because photographing myself, because I'm very used to that. I mean, once you know how photography works, you know how an image works too, how your body or other bodies behave behind a camera, behind a lens. So in front of a lens, not behind. And behind, because I was doing self-portrait, I knew more or less how it would look like, but this was a different process. So I was trying to understand this new way of seeing myself, and trying to make this process about, it's not an immediate process as photography is. I mean, you don't have the image right away, and you have to wait. And also it means it involves matter and work with our hands in photography for sure, but it's a different kind of.
Sorry, I lost you again briefly. You said at the point you said it's not an immediate process like with photography, and then I lost you. Sorry, Costanza.
No, sorry, I'm very
okay.
I'm very sorry, because it's my connection. No, I was saying that also it's a very tactile experience, you have to be involved with your hands, even if we as photographers are involved with our hands, because we have to manage our camera and setting things up. I think it's another kind of relation with a matter, and with I think we primarily trust in our sight to represent a world. Here you have to wait for this image to appear before you. That's why you say it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. And also this thing about casting part of myself and doing this reproduction was very similar to photography, because I understood that this is my way of thinking. I mean, I think I was thinking about images in a photographic way. If I don't know if that makes sense, but the way it was, the representation in my head was very photographic. So it makes sense to me that the way that I approach to make these molds of myself, this plaster cast, was with a plaster cast that is in fact a reproduction, a replica.
Yeah.
It's not like I don't know, ceramics or anything that you kind of work with the matter until you transform it into something else. You just copy a form and then you make a reproduction. In that way, it's very similar to photography, and you can do many copies.
Sorry, Costanza, did you just say you can do many copies?
Yes, many copies as you want.
Yeah.
And that,
yeah.
And
it's slow. I'm guessing that would slow you right down.
Yes.
In terms of your thought processes and how you approach.
Yeah, and also I was. I think I had to learn about trusting the process, because in photography we had immediate results, and here you have to wait for it to develop the form, or to know if this is going to result or is not going to break or anything. It's going to. You have to trust the process and enjoy the process. Photography is also like that, but it's more like I think it has another. I don't know how to say that. I think it's faster in photography. We have to. It just
sounds very much like large format photography, in that sort of slowness. But instead of it being in the photographic part, it's the actual construction of the forms that's slow and methodical.
Yeah, but even in large photography, you have your sight is controlled. And I mean, maybe this is an idea that I have, and it's not very clear, but I think sight is very close to your mind, in the fact that we can control with our sight what we want, or it's immediate relation that we establish with other things when you see things, and then when you see things through a lens, it's a kind of a way to dominate a thing that you want in this kind of is how it's like when a person tries to make a landscape painting. It's a very horizontal image. I'm trying to just link the idea of control with horizontal. It's not like, I don't know if I'm being clear. I think I'm kind of.
I'm interested in the word that you say, you dominate. When you're taking a picture, you're dominating the subject. Is that, am I right in my understanding?
Donna, I lost you.
Oh, I'm still here. Hopefully we'll reconnect. Can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear you.
Oh, yes, I can hear you now.
Oh, good, good. Were you back?
Yes, I'm sorry. Oh.
I'm interested in, you said, and I just want to understand if I'm correct in my understanding of what you're saying. You were saying about taking a picture. Are you suggesting that when you take a picture, you're dominating the subject?
I think it's not in the moment when you are making the photograph, but because when you're making the photograph, there is a relation that it's in development with the person you are photographing or the landscape, or you are interacting with them.
Okay.
But I think that when you photograph something, you at least have a previous idea of what you want to do. That it's very clear, because it's I don't know. I'm not saying that this is going to be just like you imagine or just like you pre-visualize that. I'm just saying that I think that because in photography we work with our sight, and it's a very dominant sense.
Yeah.
It's different from I relate. Hi.
Hi. I lost you briefly.
Yes, I was saying that I think that what I was trying to say is that at least for me, the sight is very rational,
Right.
compared with other senses.
Yeah.
And the sight allows us to, in certain way, prearrange the things we want to imagine, and it projects a previous idea of what you want. It's different. It's a different relation that you can have when you have to trust in your I don't know, in a relation based on a tactile sensation, or on your ear, or your
Yeah.
it's a very dominant situation. Even if photography it's I mean, when you are facing a person or a landscape or whatever you are photographing, and
Yeah.
it's a new relation every time you step behind the lens, and you are establishing a dialogue with that person, and you are also establish a dialogue with yourself, trying to understand what is that person or landscape or wherever is saying to you. There is obviously a communication, but I think sight is a very powerful sense to understand very quickly how you want to develop an idea. And also photography allows us to have this immediate result, even if you work with a large format camera, or you work with, I don't know, another kind of process that is, it takes kind of a more elaborate process. I mean, you have an image that just appears before you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, is that the net result with photography is that you have as you just said, you have an image that just appears before you. Yeah, that makes sense. So in terms of COVID and the world we're living in, what new challenges do you see in this sort of COVID, and I suppose as well moving towards a post-COVID world, for the photographers and the photographic community?
Lost you, Donna.
Sorry.
I lost you. You were telling me about what kind of
Challenges
challenges I was.
for photographers in this sort of new world that we're in, and moving forward post-COVID.
Yes, I think it's kind of difficult to. I think maybe in Europe there is a scenario that at least is going to I don't know, appears to be like there is an exit of COVID. I don't know if I'm saying this correctly. At least there is a post-COVID scenario. You can imagine there is a post-COVID scenario. In our cases, I think in Latin America, it's very difficult at this moment to think about a post-COVID scenario.
Okay.
And Venezuela's case is even more difficult because we have other problems. But I think because we're in the middle of COVID, we can't still understand clearly what is a COVID situation. So I don't know if we are able to understand or to imagine a post-COVID scenario. I think that for photographers, it's been very difficult, at least for documentary photographers, to try to understand a way to relate to this kind of new reality where they're, at the beginning, they couldn't go outside to work with people or to document reality, or just they couldn't travel, they couldn't document the reality. And this I think this is very interesting, because I think that for many years there's been this kind of difference between documentary photography and the rest of photography, whether this is like the true representation of reality, because you go outside and you see things that are not on your country or your neighborhood or your own home. But I think that this
Just a second.
of photography.
Sorry, Costanza, I've lost you again.
I lost you. Yes, I'm sorry, Donna. I was saying that there was this difference between documentary photography, this approach, or at least the way it was perceived by even photography agencies or media, or I don't know, the idea that maybe this was documentary photography was telling a story that was more important that the other kind of photography that was looking to emotions, or what happened in a ordinary life, or what is happening in a familiar or daily basis relation with things. And now there are even big names in photography had to look to themselves and try to learn how to
sorry, just you were saying even big names have to look within themselves and how to
yes, to try to tell a story about being at home and living with their relatives, and try to understand that was a how do you say in English that it's a worthy. I think it was it was a subject that was important to address, was to be
Costanza.
told.
Were you saying, I've just lost connection slightly. Were you saying that
You,
it's
Donna, you are the Buddha of patience.
oh
You
no,
are,
not at all.
yes, you
No.
are. Yes, you are.
Oh, thank you. So were you saying that the looking in at our daily lives and telling the story of our lives is a worthy subject, something worthwhile documenting?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And I think this is maybe my perception, but this was kind of a narrative about male approach versus what you can, what like you like was always considered a female approach.
Yeah.
If you are emotional, if you are if you try to convey intimate things, or if you are, then it's a female approach.
Yeah.
And this is a male approach, and then it's worthy to be I don't know,
explorer, to go outside and to
yes,
yeah no
and on adventure. And there is this myth about the war photographer, or the
yeah
and I think it's this kind of levels things up, because now they are looking inside. I don't know if this is just a situation where they're going to most likely they are going to return to the way they were doing photographs before, and are but I think I was kind of tired of seeing this kind of approach and this kind of relevance on the media, on these big names on photography that developed these works, and now they are in some discovering ways, some do you hear me?
you're breaking up. Can you you're back again?
Yeah.
So you
Yes.
said you think you were getting tired of these narratives around
this kind of kind of narratives that I don't think it's not.
So do you think that perhaps this is an opportunity that COVID has brought us to look at photography differently and maybe recalibrate how we view different types of photography?
I think that at least we should consider there are other possibilities. I don't know if this is going to change the way we perceive photography, because I think that in the end they're going to return. These big names that were developing this kind of works are going to return to the way they used to. But I think that we as consumers of this kind of images, and as producers of images, should think about the relation we establish with images and way we connect the stories, that we develop our own stories, and we
Hold up.
tell these stories to other people.
I'm so sorry, Costanza. I lost you again. You were saying, I don't know if you can hear me. The screen's frozen. I'm hoping you'll come back any second now. You were talking.
Yes, I can hear you.
You were talking about it's an opportunity to look at the relationship.
Yes, it's opportunity to look at the way we develop this relationship with images, and the way we produce images, and the way we see images, and the way we tell stories, and what we think it's worthy or not worthy of being told. I think it's very important opportunity for us that are in this field to kind of question ourselves and how are we producing images, and what is our drive to produce images.
I'm conscious of our connection and the timing on Zoom. I will soon be told that my time's running out, and I wanted to ask you particularly about your project, or one of the things that struck me is your project Skin Hunger from 2010, and
Yes.
I was really struck by how pertinent that project is now, and how lots of people must be feeling skin hunger.
Yeah.
The notion of it in this new sort of touch-free environment, how do you foresee people responding to? I know you were saying you don't see where you know in South America at the moment the concept of post-COVID seems quite far away, and also you're saying you're quite concerned about the 7 days of lockdown, and then the 7 days of not lockdown. So what happens in the 7 days of not lockdown? Are you permitted to move freely, visit each other's houses?
Well, I mean, you must understand that we have in Venezuela, there is a kind of flexibility with things in the way that we as a country, as citizens, are not very respectful of laws. We are not that, we have certain, I don't know how to say it, restrictions about how you can circulate or you can move freely. But I think that for precaution, many of us had decided to just remain at our homes and trying to avoid situations where you can be exposed to COVID. But I don't think, at least that's for me. In my case, it's like that. But I don't think that's the majority of Venezuelans. And you were about
I was
to
just going
me.
to say, I think that's the same here, that there is the government advice, and then people are proposing to do what they think is most appropriate.
Yeah.
And it depends where you are on the scale. So for me, I've not been going out. I've been doing a lot less than the government would allow people to do. And other people would be doing obviously a lot more. So it's interesting. Talking to you makes me think that perhaps it almost doesn't matter what your particular government is saying. People will make their own personal decisions,
choices. But have you seen any of your friends lately?
Well, not really. I am going to go for a walk today, a socially distanced walk today with a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm asking you this because for me it's kind of similar because I haven't seen my friends in like months. And today I'm going to see two of my friends, obviously but I haven't seen them in like, I don't know, 8 months, something like that. So it's kind of weird. And there is this need to hug people, to just feel this connection with the people you love, and there is restriction and this I care. How do you say I care for you or I care about you?
You can say both.
And that's the reason why I don't touch you.
Yeah.
That's a manifestation or I don't know how to say that, a way to say the other person that you care. But in this case, there is a strong need to connect and to feel the other one and to just be present. This physicality, it's important. And when I developed that project, I was studying in Italy. And even if Italy is Latin country, I mean, there is a proximity and a ways to show affection. There are more.
We're back.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So you were saying that when you did Skin Hungry, you were working in Italy.
Yes, I was studying there photography. And I started this project because I was thinking about that even Italians are very similar to Latin American people. There was a different way to behave with strangers, and that for us in Latin America, it's very common to be affectionate to other people, even if you don't know them, and to be, I don't know, touchy. That maybe that's it's kind of a disrespectful way of approaching other people in other countries, and it's kind of invasive, but we are used to it. And even if when people talk to you, they are using names that are kind of in terms of I don't know if that is correct to say, in terms of endearment. You are approaching people like you know them for all your life. And this is kind of a weird situation, even if I was not very keen to use this kind of approach to people I don't know. And it was part of my culture. And when I was in Italy, it kind of it seems clear to me that it was different, and I was trying to understand that difference between Latin American and Europeans, to say.
I was struck by the notion of people, though, like one of the images I think was somebody having their head massaged, and just almost people engineering situations in which they could get that skin contact in a sort of a legitimate way. Maybe not necessarily without necessarily, I suppose, sort of and I think it was like hair washing and things like that, where you go for a service to have your hair cut, but thrown in with that is the skin contact.
Yes. I think what I was understanding of the subject at the time, I understood that people were so needed of human contact, that were seeking this approach to other people, even in situations where you are not normally allowed to touch other people. So you are seeking human contact in situations where, I don't know, in public transportation, you just, when you're grabbing the, I don't know how, the pole on the subway, and try to just approach other people's hands, or you just try to feel the contact with another person on a, I don't know, in different situations on the street, or that case of this woman that was doing her hair at the hairdresser. She was just enjoying this massage, and also I was struck by the fact that old people are the ones that needed the most, or need the most, the human contact, and are the ones that are not receiving it.
Yeah, absolutely. I really feel that. My in-laws, they've been in the UK, so people over 70 have been sort of we've sort of shielded them away. And the thing that they say they're missing the most is the hugs from the grandchildren. Is that physical contact from being able to, you know, embrace their grandchildren, which they haven't had for over a year.
Yeah, very difficult.
Yeah,
very difficult. Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see how that, how that transpires once people are able to have that physical contact again.
Yeah,
how that skin hunger manifests itself, wherever people see. I'm conflicted. I've heard a lot of talk about, people have said, you know, I'll be running around hugging everybody, but I think, I personally, I don't feel like I will feel like that. I think there will be people that I definitely want to hold and embrace, but I don't think the pandemic hasn't made me feel more free and easy. I think it'll be a considered choice.
Yeah, I understand. I don't know how it's going to be my situation. I feel now the urge to just hold and hug everybody. I know everybody not. It's not like that. I'm just exaggerating. I think, or at least my friends, I feel this.
Yes.
I was afraid. I was, my birthday was in December, and I had the opportunity to see 3 of my friends, and neither of them hold me or embraced me or gave me a hug. Just one of them, and I was kind of afraid of that situation. It was kind of weird because I felt like the need, the urge to just correspond to this hug, and at the same time it was a fear of being exposed to the virus.
Yes, yes, and that's very sad that the virus makes one suspicious of those closest to you.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Costanza, thank you so much for your time.
No, thank you, and I apologize even for my connection, for my English. I think English, it was very.
Your English is amazing.
It was horrible. I'm sorry.
It's not horrible at all. It's much better
at the time.
Much better than me. But thank you so much for your time, and I hope you. Oh, I think I might have lost you again. I hope you enjoy your walk with your friends.
I hear you.
Yeah. And,
yes, likewise.
I will watch this, but I've recorded the session, so I'll watch it back if necessary. I'm hopefully it will all be okay. If it isn't, would it be okay for me to come back to you?
Yes, totally. Yes.
That's brilliant.
Yes.
Thank you ever so much. And I really enjoyed
Thank you.
meeting
Yeah.
you, and I really enjoyed getting to see some of your work and understand a bit more about your relationship with your work and your projects. So thank you ever so much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Jonna. It's been a pleasure for me too. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.